Creating budgets in Excel is actually very simple, and there are free templates that are already included in Microsoft Excel. Once you open up Microsoft Excel, there's usually this preview screen here. You can go to the search tab and type in the word budget, and it would give you a list of various types of templates. The one that I found that is extremely simple, not super complicated, just if you're looking, for an extremely simple monthly budget, the one that's titled Manage My Money is actually a great source to start with. So if you were to double click on that, it would take you to this template here. It gives you at the very top, very simple. This is a section you do not fill out, as these totals will auto-populate as you begin to go through and fill in your monthly income detail, as well as your monthly expenses. And if you do have money left over to save, there are different ways that you can um, list out your monthly savings. So in this budget here, it also gives you a simple pie chart. It is a percent of the income that you have spent. So of this, say $4,400, they've spent 67% of it. So the area in black is the total number of expenses, and this area here in green is basically how much money you have left over. So if you scroll down, you have a section that's already, this is literally how the template looks like in Excel. They provided you a section that says monthly income. And at the beginning, this really didn't, it just said a source of income, source of income. And once you click into the cell, you can type in, say whatever you want. You can rename it, the name of where you work. Um, or you can say like, you know, Janet's income. Maybe you're a household and um, you want to list with both, say, you and your husband or you and your spouse make as a household. Otherwise, like we had before, you could say paycheck one, paycheck two, however you want to put it. And then it would auto populate this amount here. Monthly expenses, it gives a very short list of items. I believe it had roughly about 8 to start with, 8 or 9. I added a few lines here to this template. I think I added the student loan, haircut, auto insurance. You could always add, insert another row and then name it uh, as such, whatever you need, and then the amount that you pay for that. Um, but for the sake of this, I'm going to delete that row and just use this as a simple example. So you would go through your bank statements, your credit card statements, and get a better idea of what truly do you spend on your groceries and any other types of items. So this would give you a total of your monthly income, the total of any amounts that you place here, and then this is the total of all your expenses. As you can see in this template, $1,000 was set aside on a specific date at the end of this month. And then even after saving $1,000, there was still $665 left over. It's a pretty nice cushion to have. So in this Excel template, it only has this one tab here. So what I've done, since we don't want to have to go through and retype in all of these columns, what we simply do is on a MacBook, I just go get my cursor down to the name of the tab. And for me on a MacBook, I hit the control tab or control key, and then I left click on my trackpad. And then there's this move or copy function. If you click on that, you're basically asking Excel to create a copy. So you would have to click this here. And say, for instance, we only had the February tab populated in the beginning. We would say, I want to make a copy of this February tab, an exact copy of it, and I want to place it at the end of this worksheet. So once you hit OK, it would create a copy of it, and you can just rename it. Double click the name of that tab, and now let's make it our June tab. And you could go all the way down to December. And in each month, you could think of things that are due within that month that may not have happened throughout the rest of the year. For instance, if you look at this February budget, we have expenses of $2,935. However, in March, it's 3,210 because once a year, annually, we do have to pay our car registration, and this was budgeted at $400. So that's why March is slightly higher than, say, February, for instance. And then, of course, in our April budget, we shouldn't see that car registration fee anywhere here because you only pay your car registration if it's just one car, or if it's, you have two for your household, or how many cars you have, you would just need to place that car registration in whatever month that it's due. And if you see this monthly savings tab here, this was just another option I wanted to show. I updated the way Excel had it, and I went from creating dates to then making them categories. So we could tell from our monthly budget, we have about roughly $1,000 that we can save given the amount of money and the expenses that incur every month. So I created three categories. There's a category for a vacation. I want to set aside a budget for this vacation that I would like to take. So of my monthly income, I want to set aside $300. Then I just have a main savings category, not for anything specific, but just, you know, you want to make sure you save. Something might come up, might need new tires, maintenance on my car, anything. And it's good to just, as much as possible, if you have the ability to save some money. Then if you purchase quite a few gifts, maybe at the end of the year, and you want to start ahead of time setting aside funds for maybe holiday gifts, that might be another category that you can consider using for your savings account, calling it holidays or whatever name, and set aside $200 a month. I had created this column here simply, I'll show it again. So what I did, let me delete all of these. You click into the cell, hit the equal sign, click on this monthly budget, and hit shift and then the number 8 key where the asterisk sign is. The asterisk represents the multiplication sign. So we're basically saying 300 multiplied by, and then let's say 12 months. We'll type in 12, hit enter, and it will automatically calculate 300 by 12 times 12, and that's 3,600. Excel is very smart, so it automatically dropped in that same exact formula, which is whatever was in this column here times 12, which gives me $6,000. So by the end of the year, say if this was started in January, by December, I would have 3,600 set aside for a vacation, $6,000 in my savings by the end of the year, and then for the holidays, I would have 2,400. Another good thing about this template, you could always update it when you need to. So if at some point in the year you get a raise, you could always go in and just update um, your income amount and make adjustments as needed. Maybe some months you can't save any because something happened. There's just this unexpected charge that occurred, and you could always just, update and lower any of your savings categories. But again, this is a simple template. It's free. It's in Excel. It's very simplistic. I do prefer a budgeting by your paycheck, but if you're just wanting to just get an idea of really what do you make and what are your expenses simply on a monthly basis, this is a great tool to use.